Ms Davidson.
Madam Speaker, I am outraged that the disability community have been left to feel as if they are a burden following recent announcements by the federal government that will see $74 billion of funding taken from the NDIS. Now, the decision to circumnavigate the NDIS review and draw an arbitrary spending target halving the projected growth in NDIS investment is disgraceful. Madam Speaker, I will do everything I can to stop these changes from blocking people's access to the services they need. I'm yet to receive an adequate explanation from the federal government about how the magic growth target was decided. I'm also yet to hear how reduced growth in expenditure will not translate to barriers to getting an NDIS plan or cuts to existing plans. Now, it seems that I'm not the only one who's been left out of the loop on this. We know from recent Senate estimate hearings that neither the Chief Executive of the NDIA, Rebecca Falkingham, nor the NDIA Chair, Kurt Fernley, were consulted on this. And we now know that the sustainability framework that the growth target is based on is actually non-existent. The federal government is making huge decisions about the lives of people with disability in our country without consulting the community, the service sector, the NDIA or the state and territory disability ministers, and it is not okay. Now, 10 years ago, the NDIS was introduced as a visionary and transformative scheme that would revolutionise delivery of disability services in Australia. It was an ambitious plan that aimed to give people with disability greater choice and control to live their best lives. Madam Speaker, I still believe in this vision, even if there are some people in the Labor Party who have given up on it. I have heard consistently from so many people with disability that they feel they are not being listened to, that they're not trusted as experts in their own experience, that they're not allowed to speak on their own terms. The federal government's recent decision to limit the annual growth of the NDIS under the non-existent sustainability framework has proven this. We know that the disability sector is under pressure. From workforce shortages to quality and safeguarding concerns, we know that the scheme needs reform. I want the NDIS to be effective and sustainable and support the people at the heart of the scheme. But we should be working with the disability community on how we make these reforms. Since this announcement was made, I've had hundreds of people with disability contact my office. They want an NDIS that responds to the demand for services and support in a way that treats them with dignity as the people who know best what their needs are. People with disability are not a burden. Disability is within the range of expression of how bodies and minds function, whether it's something a person is born with or a result of injuries or illness later in life. And as the government, we should be empowering people with disability to live their best life, however that looks. I will continue to fight until we get an NDIS that we all know that all Australians deserve.